FBI interrogators use these exact 7 techniques to break the most dangerous criminals in the world. Psychologists charge $500 an hour to teach them, but 500 years ago, Machiavelli wrote them down for free, and everyone ignored them, until now. Someone in your life is lying to you right now, not a small lie, not a white lie, a lie that could destroy your career, your relationship, or your reputation, and they think you'll never figure it out. They're wrong, dead wrong, because I will show you how to unmask them now. They smiled at you this morning, they hugged you last week, and right now they're planning exactly how to destroy you. But here's what they don't know. You're about to learn how to see through every single one of their lies before they even finish their sentence. If you're watching this, hit subscribe right now, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see every conversation for the rest of your life. And trust me, you'll want to come back to this video again and again. The most lethal predators don't announce themselves. They don't wear warning signs or flash red flags. They wear your favorite cologne. They laugh at your jokes. They remember your birthday. And while you're busy trusting them, they're busy calculating exactly how much they can take from you before you notice. But what if I told you there's a way to spot them instantly? Niccolò Machiavelli spent his entire life studying power, deception, and human nature. He discovered something terrifying. Every liar has a tell, not just one. 7 specific patterns they physically cannot hide. And once you know these patterns, you become untouchable. Comment below if you've ever had that gut feeling someone was lying but couldn't prove it. I'm about to show you exactly how to prove it every single time. Here's the thing nobody tells you about deception. Liars aren't creative, they're predictable. They follow scripts, they repeat behaviors, they leak information through their bodies like a broken faucet. And Machiavelli documented every single leak. But before I reveal the first tactic, understand this. What you're about to learn isn't just about catching liars. It's about never being fooled again. The first sign appears within seconds of them opening their mouth. It's so obvious, yet 97% of people miss it completely. Ready? Let's expose them. Tactic 1. The smokescreen of unnecessary details. When someone tells the truth, they give you facts. When someone lies, they give you a performance. And every performance needs props, costumes, and elaborate staging. That's why liars flood you with details nobody asked for. Ask someone where they were last night. A truthful person says home. A liar? They give you a Netflix documentary about their evening. Well, I got home around 8:47, no wait, 8:52, because I remember checking my phone when I walked in. Made some chicken, grilled not fried. Watch that news show everyone's talking about. You know, the one with the actor from that movie? Then Sarah called, but my phone was dying, so I plugged it in by the kitchen counter, not the bedroom, because that charger's broken. Did you catch that? They're not answering your question. They're building an alibi. And the more details they stack, the more guilty they feel. But here's where it gets interesting. Comment right now, have you ever noticed someone over-explaining something simple? That's your subconscious catching a liar before your conscious mind even processes it. And if you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out on more psychology secrets that could save your relationships, your money, and your sanity. The truth is boring. Lies are decorated, remember that. But the second tactic? This one's even more revealing because liars can control their words, but they can't control this. Tactic 2, the face always betrays the mask. Your body has 43 muscles in your face. When you genuinely smile, 12 of them activate in perfect harmony. When you fake it, only 6 move, and they move wrong. Machiavelli knew this centuries before modern psychology proved it. The face doesn't lie, it screams the truth while the mouth whispers deception. Watch what happens when someone says, "I'm happy for you," but their eyes stay dead. When they claim, "I would never betray you," but their lips press together like they're sealing a vault. When they insist, "I'm telling the truth," but their eyebrows flash up for a microsecond of doubt. These aren't accidents, these are confessions. But here's the part that will blow your mind. The best liars practice their words for hours. They rehearse tone, timing, emotion. They prepare for every question except one. Can you repeat that? Because when you ask them to repeat their lie, something fascinating happens. Tactic 3, repetition reveals the script. Honest people tell stories, liars recite lines, and just like actors in a play, they panic when they forget their script. This is why Machiavelli would ask the same question 3 different ways, days apart. Not to catch inconsistencies, to catch consistencies that shouldn't exist. You mention the party, they say I left early because things got weird. A week later, you casually bring it up. I left early because things got weird. Same words, same pause, same tone. That's not memory, that's memorization. Real memories evolve, they add details, skip others, change perspective. Lies stay frozen because the liar is terrified of contradicting themselves. Try this tomorrow with someone you suspect. Ask about the same event, but approach it backwards. So after you left the party, what happened? Watch them short circuit. They prepared the beginning and middle, but never thought about the end. Their script doesn't run in reverse. Drop a comment if you've caught someone using the exact same phrases repeatedly. And while you're here, subscribe because I'm about to reveal 4 more tactics that are even more powerful. The next one, it's so effective the CIA uses a version of it in interrogations. Tactic 4. The verbal maze exposes everything. Here's what destroys liars. Unexpected questions. Not accusations, just questions they didn't see coming. Because honest people think, liars remember. And when you force them off script, the difference becomes blindingly obvious. You're talking about last weekend. They've told you about leaving the event early. Perfect. Now ask, what route did you take home? Watch their face. That pause, that flash of panic, that defensive, why does that matter? That's the sound of a lie crumbling. Honest people might not remember the route, but they'll try. I think I took Main Street, or was it Park? Actually, I was pretty tired. Liars? They either get defensive, or they invent details on the spot that don't match reality, because they never thought about the route home. They only thought about the lie of leaving early. But wait, this gets even more surgical. What if you could make liars expose themselves without asking a single question? What if you could turn them into your own personal truth detector? Subscribe right now because this next tactic is so powerful I almost didn't include it. Tactic 5. The reverse blade technique. Machiavelli's genius wasn't just in detecting lies, it was in using liars against themselves. Here's how. Feed them false information and watch where it travels. This isn't about lying yourself. It's about setting traps that only dishonest people fall into. You suspect someone's gossiping about you. Fine. Tell them something fake, but specific. I'm thinking about moving to Denver. I might quit my job next month. I heard Sarah's getting divorced. Then wait. If that information comes back to you from someone else, if people suddenly ask about Denver, if Sarah confronts you about spreading rumors, congratulations. You've identified not just a liar, but an active enemy. The beauty? They'll never know they exposed themselves. They think they're gathering intelligence. Really, they're revealing their entire network of deception. Comment below if you've ever had information come back to you that you only told one person. That's not coincidence, that's confirmation. But the 6th tactic? This one's psychological warfare at its finest. Tactic 6. The controlled confession trap. Want to make liars reveal themselves instantly? Share a fake vulnerability, not a real one. Never give dishonest people real ammunition. Create a small, harmless confession that invites them to lower their guard. I used to exaggerate stories to seem more interesting, felt terrible about it. Then watch what happens next. Honest people respond with empathy or share their own growth. Liars? They see an opening. They'll either match your confession to build fake rapport, or even better, they'll reveal their own deceptions thinking they're safe. Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Actually, just last week I told my boss, ... You've just turned their need for connection into a confession booth, and they have no idea they're being recorded. This is why you need to subscribe. These aren't just tactics, they're psychological superpowers that change how you navigate every relationship. Speaking of relationships, the 7th tactic reveals something disturbing about the people closest to you. Tactic 7. The glitch in the matrix. Every liar is an actor, and every actor needs a stage. But what happens when the curtain falls? What happens in those split seconds when they think nobody's watching? That's when you see the glitch, the moment their real face breaks through the mask. You're having coffee, they're smiling, laughing, playing the perfect friend. You excuse yourself to the bathroom but pause just outside their view. Watch their face in the reflection of a window or mirror. That smile, gone. That warmth, evaporated. That engagement, replaced by cold calculation or complete emptiness. This is the glitch Machiavelli hunted for, the moment between performances when the liar's exhaustion shows. Because maintaining a false personality is draining and nobody can do it forever. They all slip, they all reveal, they all glitch. You just have to know when to watch. Comment if you've ever caught someone's face dropping the second they thought you looked away. That wasn't random, that was revelation. And if you want more revelations that will protect you from manipulation, hit subscribe and the notification bell right now. But here's where most people make a fatal mistake. They think catching a liar means confronting them. Wrong, dead wrong. Machiavelli knew something most people never learn. Exposed liars are worthless. Hidden liars, they're tools waiting to be used. The Machiavellian response: control without confrontation. You've identified the liar. Your instinct screams, confront them, call them out, demand answers. But that's exactly what amateurs do, and it's exactly why they lose. Because the moment you reveal what you know, you lose every advantage.
Instead, you reposition. You let them think they fooled you while you quietly rearrange the chessboard. They lie about work, keep them close but never give them real projects. They lie about relationships, mirror their energy but never share real intimacy. They lie about loyalty, feed them false information and watch where it goes. This isn't cruelty, it's strategy. You're not punishing them. You're protecting yourself while gathering intelligence. Every lie they tell becomes data. Every deception becomes evidence. Every manipulation becomes ammunition you may never need to use, but you'll always have ready. Subscribe if you understand that real power isn't loud. It's silent. It doesn't announce itself, it positions itself. And speaking of positioning, let me show you how to turn their greatest weapon into their greatest weakness. Advanced tactic. Making liars fear you without saying a word. Here's psychological mastery. Mirror their deception so subtly they can't call it out. They exaggerate. You exaggerate slightly more. They flatter falsely. You return it with the same hollow ring. They tell elaborate stories. You match their energy with your own creative narratives. Why does this work? Because liars recognize themselves. And nothing terrifies a deceiver more than thinking they might be getting deceived. They start second-guessing. Are you playing them? Do you know? Are you smarter than you appear? This paranoia is poison to a liar's confidence. And once their confidence cracks, their whole facade crumbles. But you never accuse, never confront, never reveal. You just reflect their energy back at them like a mirror in a funhouse, distorted just enough to disturb them. Comment below if you've ever made someone nervous just by matching their energy. That's not coincidence, that's power. The real question is, what kind of liar are you dealing with? Because not all deceptions are equal, and not all liars lie for the same reason. Subscribe now because I'm about to break down the 3 types of liars Machiavelli feared most. Type 1, the insecure pretender. This liar doesn't even know they're lying anymore. They've told their fake stories so many times, they believe them. They inflate achievements, exaggerate connections, manufacture importance. They're not trying to hurt you, they're trying to heal themselves. But here's the danger. Confident delusion is contagious. When they speak with conviction about their fake accomplishments, others believe them. And suddenly, the liar who claimed to know celebrities actually gets invited to exclusive events. The fraud who exaggerated their resume actually gets promoted. The pretender becomes powerful through pure performance. How do you dismantle them? Simple. Ask for specifics they can't fake. Request introductions to their famous friends. Inquire about details of their big deals. Watch them scramble, stutter, redirect. These liars collapse when reality enters the room. They've built kingdoms from clouds. One breath of truth and it all dissipates. Drop a comment. Have you ever known someone whose entire personality was a performance? That's not just sad. It's dangerous. Because desperate people do desperate things. Type 2. The strategic manipulator. This is Machiavelli's nightmare made flesh. Every word is calculated. Every emotion is weaponized. Every relationship is transactional. They don't lie from insecurity, they lie for advantage. and they're terrifyingly good at it. These are the ones who plant seeds of doubt about your other friends, who take credit for your ideas so smoothly you question your own memory, who position themselves between you and opportunities, filtering information, controlling access, managing perception. They're not just liars, they're architects of alternate realities. How do you dismantle them? Isolation and documentation. Pull them away from their audience. Manipulators need witnesses to their performance. Document everything: dates, times, exact words. They thrive in ambiguity but crumble under specificity. And most importantly, build alliances with others who've noticed the patterns. Strategic manipulators often leave a trail of victims who compare notes eventually. Subscribe and hit the bell, because if you've encountered this type, you need every advantage possible. They're playing chess while others play checkers. But you're about to flip the board entirely. Type 3, the emotional terrorist. This is the most draining type because they don't lie with logic, they lie with feelings. They weaponize tears. They deploy guilt like drone strikes. They transform every confrontation into a therapy session where somehow you end up apologizing for catching them in deception. These liars have mastered the art of victimhood. Catch them stealing? They cry about their difficult childhood. Expose their betrayal? They threaten self-harm. Question their story. They accuse you of being heartless, paranoid, abusive. They don't defend their lies, they attack your character for noticing them. How do you dismantle them? Emotional Aikido. Never meet their energy. They cry, you stay calm. They rage, you lower your voice. They guilt trip. You ask closed-ended questions that demand yes or no answers. You become a stone wall their emotions crash against until they exhaust themselves. Comment if you've ever felt guilty for catching someone lying. That's not your conscience, that's their manipulation. And if this video is opening your eyes, share it with someone who needs to see it. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is awareness. But here's the ultimate truth about liars that Machiavelli understood centuries ago. The final revelation. Every liar creates their own prison. Liars think they're free because they're not bound by truth. But watch them closely. See how they check their stories for consistency. Notice how they track who they've told what. Observe the exhaustion of maintaining multiple realities. They haven't escaped the prison of truth. They've built a more complex cage of their own lies. And you hold the key. Not because you'll unlock their cage, but because you'll never enter it. You'll stand outside watching them pace their self-made cell, checking the locks they created, maintaining the walls they built. And they'll never understand why you seem so free, so unbothered, so powerful. Because you know their secret. You see their patterns. You've mapped their maze. And while they're busy maintaining their deceptions, you're busy building your empire on the solid ground of clarity. Subscribe right now if you're ready to stop being deceived and start being decisive. The 7 tactics you've learned today aren't just tools, they're a new way of seeing. From this moment forward, every conversation is different. Every smile is data. Every story is evidence. Every person reveals themselves not through what they say, but through how they say it, when they say it, and what their body does while they're saying it. You're no longer hoping people are honest. You're knowing whether they are. You're no longer guessing about intentions. You're reading them like subtitles on a foreign film. You're no longer vulnerable to deception. You're immune to it. Comment below. Which tactic surprised you most? Which one will you use first? And who came to mind while watching this? Because if someone specific popped into your head, your subconscious already knows what your conscious mind is just beginning to accept. Share this video with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more psychological warfare tactics. Hit the notification bell to join the ranks of the undeceivable. Because in a world full of liars, the one who sees clearly doesn't.